Hello, I am so excited to be here for episode 6 of the Eternal Possibility Hour, where I interview ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I am Esther Piszczek, and I am here today with my friend Lauren G. Foster, who is a happiness and empowerment coach. And I am really excited to introduce you to her and to see what she has to share.
Yay.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. So you have been on a lifelong spiritual journey, which you have this fascinating story. It starts at a very young age, and I would love it if you would share with our listeners to kind of introduce yourself and share with them who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. And it just occurred to me I should have brought a copy of my book to show you because that that
I'm
it,
going to link it.
it's really okay. And you'll see my beautiful dog on the cover of the book. So my spiritual journey began when I was a very young girl in a beautiful little small town Baptist church. We had this amazing minister of youth and music that he and his young family created this just beautiful container for us kids where we were singing and dancing and playing instruments and putting on plays and going on trips and learning the real basics of true spiritual work, which is that you love each other and you support each other and you forgive each other and so all the things that are real and true about spirituality I was immersed in as a young girl. And I had outlets for my talents. I was a singer and a piano player, and I was just so overflowing with joy that at 12 or 13 years old, I stood in front of my church and said, I will be a missionary. I will teach the world to feel this beautiful, amazing joy. Well, some changes happened. The minister of youth and music went off on a missionary trip. Our pastor was caught in an indiscretion and booted out of the church, and that was like clue number one. I'm like, wait, I thought we forgave. I thought we didn't judge. I thought we didn't, what's going on here? And just a lot of confusion in my little young mind. I was, 15 or 16 by now. And our church burned down. We got new leaders, and suddenly I was getting different messages that I was bad unless I behaved in this way, that my body was bad, that the impulses and the desires to experience life and the world were bad, and that if I wanted to have God, I had to be good. And this just I couldn't get my mind around this, and I didn't think I could ever be good enough to be loved by God. So I went off on my own, feeling disconnected from my source. And I lived that way for about 3 decades before, life started to open up little cracks for me here and there to witness that 13-year-old girl had it right. The love and the forgiveness and the openness, the caring, the unconditional love, right? That was the truth. And that was truly what spirit, God, source, the universe. I still struggle with the word God because of that early training. So when I hear the word God, I think of some entity outside of me that's judging me and mad at me and trying to make me be something that I'm not, right? So I loved the work of Wayne Dyer. And if you know him, you'll know that his first book didn't say a word about God, not one single spiritual concept in his first book. And as he evolved, he became more and more and more spiritual, and more of these concepts made their way into his work. And it was like, and I already liked him and trusted him. So I kind of like grew along with him in this openness. And I loved the teachings of Abraham Hicks, right? And like all of those messages rang so true. But then the channeling part, we're getting this from non-physical. I was just like, whatever. I don't really care where it comes from. Right. I'm just going to listen to the messages. And so for many years, I tried to create life just with my own little human power, disconnected from my source. And I failed. Right. So by 2010, I was bankrupt. All of the members of my family that I tried to help were not helped. My brother died from his addiction anyway. My mother was in a state-run nursing home because nobody had the money for anything better than that. My sister, who I was living with, was losing her house. And, I was jobless, hopeless, and I was out of resources. And since I didn't really want to really be homeless and, under a bridge, I put my blinders on. I handed my family back over to their path, to God, to the universe. I'm like, I don't know what is going on here, but I know that I'm not helping. And I know that I don't have the power to help. So I handed all of those people back to their own source. I put my blinders on. I gathered all of the life skills that I had learned. I read the Abraham Hicks book, Ask and It Is Given, constantly. I made lists of positive aspects every day and practiced everything that I could think of to stay in a positive mindset and to create a small, humble vision of a new life for myself. And by 2013, I had done that. And I was right here in this spot on this deck with my dog at my feet. And my heart and mind went back to that 13-year-old girl. It's like, this is what I want to do. I want to help women understand that they're not bad. They are completely and totally worthy. They are the happiness and freedom and this perfect joy is your birthright. And to not have them take decades to do it like I did. So that's the day that I decided I was a happiness coach and this journey began.
Yeah, after all of that, who is God to you now?
God to me is that our maker, our creator, the energy in this universe, the force that beats my heart. So there is no atom of this universe in which God is not. Right. So that to me is what God is, source, the universe. I channel the name of my messenger is Caleb. And having a name is just kind of a personal thing for me, but we all have this voice that is the translation of non-physical, of God that's everywhere. And we all get to hear those messages if we choose to stop and listen.
Okay.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about that because there's all kinds of voices in the brain.
Yes.
There's the voice that says, do this. The voice that says, don't do that. The voice that says, maybe you want to do this. Maybe it's not good for you. Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the channeling voice. So tell me about channeling and what is that? How did you come to it? And what is it for someone who knows absolutely nothing about it?
Okay, so I should change a word. So when you are channeling and listening to non-physical, listening to your highest self, it's the voice of your heart, not the voice of your brain. It's not the voice of your ego. And so that is simply all that channeling is first of all understanding that there is a force that is bigger than us. There is a higher power that is a part of us, but is not just us. Right. And so every thought that has ever been thought, every soul that has ever lived, every soul that ever will live, all of that information is in existence in this non-physical energy. And when you are able to set aside your thinking brain, your brain doesn't have wisdom, your brain has knowledge. Right? You come into this world with a brain that has the capacity to learn, and then life teaches you things. And your brain knows that. And now it's also a calculator and a figure outer of things, right? But the wisdom that we have as spiritual beings in a human existence is our heart, is our spirit, is our soul, and our ability to tap into all that is what channeling is. So anyone that can set aside their brain, set aside their ego, and just listen to the pure messages of their highest self, of their maker, of source, of spirits and guides, every voice that has ever spoken is still able to speak. Right. So we exist in time and space, but all of this stuff exists outside of time and space. So we could easily hear the voice of Jesus or the voice of our grandchild that hasn't been born yet, right? Yeah.
Okay, so someone listening is thinking, wow, that's amazing. How can I do this? So
Yeah.
tell me, how would you tell someone who knows, has really, this is the first time that they're hearing this, and they
Mhm.
really want to um, walk forward on their spiritual journey. and be able to tap into this wisdom, the all-knowing wisdom of source? How would they do that?
Yeah, it's wonderful. So, and in all of my teachings, that it's very, very important to have a strong spiritual presence, to learn to distinguish between the voice of your fear and the voice of your source. And how do you do that? You do that by having conversations. When you and I talk, when as we get to know each other, suddenly you don't have to say, Lauren, it's Esther, because I know your voice because I've been talking to you and I've been listening to you. So the first step, if you are brand new, is meditation and learning to still your mind, learning to recognize what is the chatter that's going on in your brain and what are the messages that you are receiving from your heart. And the just like anything else, the more that you practice, the easier this becomes. Now, meditation is a very widely used term. So in this instance, just consciously sitting and being in stillness is the starting point, right? So, and concentrating on your breath, concentrating on looking at a candle, concentrating on a mantra, just getting to be the master of your mind. And so, no, I'm not paying attention to my mind that wants to think about my shopping list. I'm paying attention to my breath, right? And so you're like exercising. So every time you say to your thoughts, not right now, right now I'm meditating, you're like exercising a muscle. Now that some spiritual teachers would call this a concentration exercise, which it also is, right? And then as you are able to be in the stillness, then you can begin to tap in and listen to the voice of your heart, the voice of your spirit, and see what kinds of journeys this part of you will take you on. And then you had asked earlier how I arrived at the channeling, and just like everything else in my life, it just sort of showed up. I've always been a fan of Mike Dooley, a student of Mike Dooley, and he was having a I think it was called the Art of Channeling workshop with Sarah Landon. And I saw the promo. I thought, she is so beautiful and so normal. And this is so cool. I'm gonna check this out and see what this is about, right? And I had always been interested in deepening my own intuition, but but I didn't realize at the time that was what I was going to accomplish, that I was going to create an even stronger sense of my own intuitive knowing, right? That comes from source. So I took that. Where was I? Went off on a tangent.
Yeah. You were telling us how you took Mike Dooley's class, Art of Channeling with Sarah Landon, and that was the
Yeah.
introduction
Oh,
to your channeling journey.
yes. So her instructions were so simple. They were sit for and take 3 deep breaths, set a timer for 15 minutes, and then write down everything that comes. Consciously bring yourself to a place where you are willing to listen to the messages that are arriving via your heart, via your spirit, and just writing them down. And I did that a little bit here and there, and it was all right. But then I met where we became friends in the group that our friend Joanne Carey has, the art of channeling, the practice channeling. And I showed up there one day. I'm like, huh, well, this is just really interesting. And why not practice verbal channeling? And and I did, and it was just like, wow, it was so natural and so easy and so normal for me that I started to do it every day, and it's brilliant.
And what has that done for you? Like, how
Well,
has your life changed since that class?
there is this confidence, there is this ability to at any moment just stop and check in with my guides, check in with my heart, check in with my higher power, with all that is, and go, okay, wait, am I on course here, or have I gone flailing off into a panicked brain type of thing? Am I reacting in fear? Am I reacting in doubt and lack and scarcity? Or am I in alignment with my true self? And with all of this practice, instantly can feel it. You go, oh, okay, it's time to stop and settle back in. And, it happens to all of us throughout our day, right? We get triggered. Our little brains and our egos get triggered with things that happen around us. And through this process of having a daily spiritual practice where I'm exercising this muscle, I'm recognizing the voice of my spirit. I know when my ego is trying to mess up my day, and I can stop and make a different choice in the way that I'm looking at things, in the way that things are being.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a lot about discernment and
Yeah.
discerning the messages that are coming through and whether or not they are leading you towards a more loving way of being or leading you into a less loving way of being. Do you think that's fair?
Um, that's sort of simplified, but yeah. Yeah, so your source is never going to tell you you're bad. Your source is never going to tell you you're wrong. Your source is never going to tell you you're stupid or inept or incapable, right? So if you hear words like that, you know that's not the voice of source. That's never ever going to happen. And so saying the voice of love, yeah, that makes absolute sense. But at the same time, you are the idea is to integrate all of the parts of you, your soul, your brilliant brain, your amazing body, so that you're all on the team, right? And all doing the brilliant work you were put here to do in the world, and not letting your brain be the boss of you. And our brains will be mean to us until we train ourselves out of that. That your brain, your ego, your limiting beliefs are the ones that say, wait a minute, who are you to think that you can start a business? Who are you to think that you're a teacher and anybody would listen to you? Your source is never going to say that to you. That's the voice of your fears, your beliefs, your brain, your limiting concepts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that our emotional system is really fabulous at guiding us toward what is in our best interest. And for me, that always feels like joy, excitement, peace, contentment, compassion, gratitude. And then when I feel frustration, anger, hate, aggravation, I can say, oh, this is not the direction. I don't like how I feel right now. This is not the direction I want to go in. And then I can assess and say, what's happening? What are the thoughts that are in my brain? Where are they coming from? Are they loving, beautiful thoughts? Or am I having critical, judgmental thoughts about myself or about somebody else? And I think that's a really great way to begin to discern what information is happening. So I think that before I started living in a new way, people would say, your thoughts, listen to your thoughts. I was like, I don't know what's happening. My thoughts just do their thing. Like I have no control over them. And you started out talking about meditation being a really integral tool to living your spirituality in a more forward thinking way. And so, how does that kind of monkey mind thought thing and meditation? You mentioned a little bit earlier, but can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so your mind never stops. It's like a computer. It's going and doing stuff all the time. But your choice as to whether you're engaging with your mind or you're not, that's where your discernment is. That's where your control is. And so you moved on into the next question. And I wanted to ask you something in that, have you um taken the time to stop and notice that? So you're listening to your emotional guidance system, which is a brilliant. Are you noticing where this shows up in your body? This is another really powerful thing, because when a lot of times, if we are able to tune into our body, we can recognize these negative emotions even quicker than if we're just using the neck up types of things, right? So if you notice, oh my gosh, my stomach is all clenched up, what's going on? This gives you the opportunity to check in with yourself. So do you are you connected with your body in that way?
I am connected to my body in that way, but I don't always think about it in that way. And so I'm glad that you brought that up. That's a wonderful reminder for me. And I think that a lot of times people think that, well, my head is where it's all happening. And so that's the only thing that I need to be concerned about. And so we don't actually check in with our bodies. And our bodies are a source of great wisdom and really can tell us so much about whether we're on the right path that's wonderful and healing and loving for us, or whether we're going down a wrong path.
Right. Yeah. And also to, our bodies give us so many clues as to what's needed. And when we are not listening to them, they talk louder and louder and louder until it becomes something that you are no longer able to ignore, and you're in the hospital, right? So
Right. Do you have an example of that from your own life?
from my own life, no. From people that I have witnessed all around. I have always been blessed with incredibly good health, and I've also been very interested in nutrition and the way our bodies feel and the way that we fit in our bodies. And so I don't I've really not had any very negative consequences to ignoring my body. But I witness it all the time, right? What women who are completely and totally exhausted and refuse to rest will eventually injure themselves so that they are forced to rest. So, yeah, only that I've witnessed.
Yeah.
But I know I'm going to think about that though, because I've lived a long life. So,
It sounds like you've had quite the journey,
yeah,
30 years separated completely from God's source, after having declared that you wanted to be a missionary at age 13. And so there's a lot of contrast there. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I would be
yeah.
interested to hear what you.
Okay, so we were, there was a question. We talked about the monkey brain and the role of meditation, and it's just practice. And I've also heard it said that if prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening to God, right? So that's another way of thinking and being in your meditation. It's like, okay, I'm opening myself to wisdom. I'm opening myself up to more than what I have in this physical body, and being willing to accept, divine love and support and abundance and knowledge and inspiration.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Does this have anything to do with religion?
Religion is a word that means an organ to me. And, of course, the English language gets messed around with all the time. Religion is a group of people who share similar beliefs. That is a religion. And that can be an absolutely beautiful thing. A group of people who gather together, who share things. But religion, any type of organization, can be abused, and there can be agendas, and there can be, sort of a feeling of this powerful body has figured out that this is the way things are, and you must do things this way or you are wrong and you are going to hell. And so sorry, I said a bad word when I promised I wouldn't. um so religion, just like any power, can be abused, or it can be used to nurture the population within it and the flock. And so the danger is in letting anyone outside of yourself be the final authority, right? So you can be in any group, you can be in any organization, you can be in any situation and witnessing anything in the world. As long as you are tapped into your source and you have your discernment, then you can't be harmed, you can't be led astray. You can only absorb truth and love, and you have the ability to recognize and dismiss other agendas or other power plays or things that are not in your service or not in alignment with you.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that makes sense. So you talked earlier, you mentioned guides and you mentioned Caleb. And
mm-hmm.
so if somebody doesn't know what guides are, can you talk about that?
Well, as best as I can. I don't really know what guides are either. you know, so
What are they to you?
to me, they are everything that Caleb says, that these are, he is able to draw on everybody anywhere. So he could say that, Michael the archangel is contributing to our conversation today, or your grandma, or your great great Cherokee grandma ancestor wants you to know this. And those are just all entities and beings and little snippets of spirit that are in existence and collective when they want to be, and when they don't, it's kind of mysterious, but it's all around us all the time. And so just the feeling that there is a spiritual universe that is full of, and in this little space around this table, There could be millions of essences, millions of former souls present in just this little spot because they're not limited by space and time, right? So the love and support that you feel when you are tapped into yourself, to your deepest, highest self, to your guides, which are the same thing. Those are your guides. Those are the and the in the secular life, how they are very commonly show up is don't turn there or do turn there. Little impulses that we get intuitively that are for our protection, and a feeling in your gut that this is not a safe place. Get out of here. That's a message from your guide, and a sign on the side of a bus that says, you are so loved. The universe can speak to you in any way that it wants.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It was a non-answer, but that's what.
No, that is a perfect, beautiful answer. And I think that when it's a slippery slope to think that we know everything that's going on.
Yeah. And not really that much fun, right? Do we really want there to be no mystery? Do we really want the all of the vastness of space and other universes and spirits? Do we really want that to be just, oh, it's all cut and dried and this is how it is? That, yeah,
Yeah.
seems more fun to me for it to be mysterious.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this morning because I used to think that, oh my gosh, when they say that we're eternal beings, and I would think, oh, but life is so hard. Like, why would I want to do this and toil forever? Like forever. That sounds terrible. Until I began to realize that life doesn't have to be hard and terrible all the time. And through tapping into my intuition, with channeling and connecting to God in this way, and watching for synchronicities out there in the world and listening to that inner voice that does give me wisdom. And so when that little inner voice said something and I ignore it, and then the bad thing happens, I'm like, oh, I should have listened to that little voice.
Yeah.
The next time. So it's like a practice, just like meditation. I think it's a practice to really say, oh, well, what's that voice telling me? Oh, I'm too tired. I'm not going to bother. Or no, last time I didn't listen. This time I'm going to do the thing. And now I didn't lose my car keys, into the river or over the bridge, or, something terrible didn't happen. But I then had all these consequences too.
Yeah. So I loved remembering that, I love to watch all kinds of like fantasy things like Guardians of the Galaxy type things and things with magic. And there's always people that are in search of immortality in this physical body. And that's always fascinating to fiction, of course. Well, there are probably humans, beings in the physical world that are seeking immortality. I haven't met them. But
Well, the whole
anyway,
fountain of youth, people,
yes,
science is always searching for the gene, the this, the that,
yes,
for the fountain of
exactly.
youth.
Exactly. But so the idea to me that our soul is immortal is so freeing and so wonderful. And so it's like, I can't get this wrong because I have an eternity to do it. But at the same time, if a human life didn't have a beginning and an end, think of how much we would take for granted. Think of how cheap life would seem, that it would take away so much of the just the heart-wrenching beauty of this human journey, right? So that, like a vacation, oh, I'm going on a vacation that is never going to end. I'm only going to have fun, sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. Never again am I going to be challenged. Never again am I going to have fears. Never again, then that would not be that much fun anymore if you didn't have anything to compare it to. So knowing that we are not guaranteed tomorrow adds richness and adds just depth and beauty to this human existence. But at the same time, knowing that we live forever takes away some of the fear. Yeah.
Yes.
These are the places my brain goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you work with people as a happiness and empowerment coach?
Interesting that you would ask that because I'm in the process of putting together, and actually it's together and it's launched. Um, and I'm taking 7 women through this program in its infancy at a very, very low price in order to develop the materials that go around it and fine tune it. So 7 guinea pigs that get to come along on this journey with me. But the work is all about getting really deep inside our own self concept that is hidden so deep in our subconscious that we cannot see it. So, places where we have fixed beliefs about ourselves, fixed beliefs about other people, fixed beliefs about the world. And when we have these deeply hidden fixed beliefs, there is no possibility for growth with a fixed belief. And so, what we do is subconsciously, we have patterns, we have behaviors, we have habits that reinforce and prove to our subconscious that our belief is true. And we just remain stuck there. So, my job as your coach is to help you figure out where those are. So, maybe you believe that um, people like me aren't capable of making a lot of money, whatever people like you means to you, whoever this is. And taking that apart and going, okay, what if that's not true? Getting really curious about that and getting into a growth mindset where the truth is that everything is possible, that we all women, and I'm a women's coach, we are full of so much potential and we so underplay ourselves. We so underestimate ourselves. We are so trained to not reach for big dreams and to keep playing small. And my mission is to break everybody out of that box and watch us change the world, right? The Dalai Lama said the world will be saved by the Western woman. And I want us to do it quick. I want us to stop dragging our feet, playing small, staying hidden, being invisible, and really play big. So that is the basis of my work, and it involves, there's a spiritual component, there's deep self inquiry, there is deep self love and self awareness and self acceptance and embracing your power, and it's really beautiful and fun and amazing journey that I'm loving so much. Yeah.
So let's talk about your book for a minute.
Okay.
Happy and Free on Purpose.
Happy
And
and free on
Happy
purpose.
and Free on Purpose. And so I imagine that this came out of your search when you said, look, my life isn't working. I'm bankrupt. All my family's doing whatever. And started on your own to say, okay, I'm turning everything over to God. Where do you want me to be? What do you want me to do?
Yeah, it kind of did, but it also, so when I decided to be a happiness coach, I discovered pretty quickly that knowing how to do something, knowing how to transform my own life, and knowing how to teach someone to transform their lives were not the same thing. So I went off and got a whole lot of education and certification as a life coach, and how to put together step-by-step programs. And this is another pattern that many women have, right? There's a process that we go through when we're trying to learn something new, and that is that, we dive in and we get all excited and we feel all this possibility and all this hope. It's very cool. And then we get maybe overwhelmed, or we start to doubt whether we really can learn this, or it's too hard, or we're doing everything that we can, it's not working, we get discouraged, and then a lot of us quit, go do something else. Okay, this didn't work, I'm going to try something else. Whereas the truth is, if we can stick to it through that discouragement, everything will come together, and all of the things that we are learning will click into place, and hope will be renewed. And then if we keep going, then the new knowledge becomes innate, it becomes a part of us and becomes so beautifully easy. And this is how we get new skills, this is how we have new growth. And supporting one another as women through that discouragement phase is so important as well. All right. So what I did was I got discouraged that I'd spent $25,000 to be a life mastery consultant, and the business model wasn't working. I wasn't getting what I wanted. So I went and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm really wanting to be interested. I want to be a meditation teacher. So I went and got certified as a meditation teacher. And I'm like, well, nobody really wants to learn how to meditate. On and on. So I got certified as a primal health coach. I acquired all of these beautiful, amazing skills that I'm grateful for now, because now I bring all of that into this work, and including the channeling. That was another tangent. Maybe I'm supposed to be a channeler, right? Maybe this is my path. So that Happy and Free on Purpose was written in 2021. And so it brings a lot of that learning and knowledge into the path. And it's really a path, it's daily practices of things that you can do to be the deliberate creator of your life, to stop being at the mercy of circumstances, to stop letting anything outside of yourself be the dictator of how you are going to feel and do and be and grow, right? And becoming your own authority. So that's what the Happy and Free on Purpose daily practices to live your life is about. Yeah.
Wonderful. Can you share one of those with us? That
Which
might be
one,
helpful to people. One of those
one,
daily practices that you think that's, like if I was going to change my life and wanted to change it today, and I could only do one thing to change because my life is so crazy busy, I can only change one thing. What would that be?
we already did this. We did meditation. Let me do the second one.
Okay, do the
Let me
second
do the
one then.
second thing after meditation. So, yeah, taking a moment to spend in deliberate silence and connection with yourself is the most important thing. And the so then the next would be that this brilliant thing happens when we sleep. All right, during our day we build up all of this momentum, and if our momentum is positive and we're getting things done and we're manifesting things and where things are just getting brighter and brighter and brighter, then that momentum is brilliant. But some days our momentum is in a different direction, right? And things are not going well, and the more we pay attention to the things that aren't working, the more things don't work, and we get in this different spiral. But no matter the speed or the direction of your momentum, when you sleep, that stops. And this is one of the best lessons I ever learned through Abraham Hicks. And if you allow yourself to begin fresh the next day, you get a brand new start every time that you sleep. But most of us instead wake right up, get right back into the worries, get right back into the to-do list that isn't done, right back into all of the things that didn't work from yesterday. So then the second thing would be the first waking moments, to just take 1 or 2 minutes to really choose your mindset, to really appreciate things. That, and this is in a lot of teachings, to write down the things that you're grateful for first thing, right? Write down 10 things you're grateful for. That sets the tone for the mood that you are in, and then suddenly your perspective has changed, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for things to feel good about. You're looking for the things that are working. You're looking for the things that are beautiful and that you appreciate. And when you look for things, those things will show up, and it changes the trajectory of your life. So that would be the second thing, is just embracing those first few minutes of wakefulness to create your day on purpose.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful, beautiful practice and technique. It doesn't take a lot of time. And I also feel like it will lend itself to learning meditation because it's something that is like a concentration practice. Every day you get to practice over and over and over again. Okay, today I'm going to remember to do this thing for 2 minutes. And the next day, oh, I forgot yesterday, but that's okay. I'm going to start over. I'm going to start over. I'm going to start over. And I think that's how we get anywhere. I mean, if you watch, babies learn how to walk, all they do is start over and over and over and over until finally they're standing, right?
Oh, can I do one more thing? Can I share
Yeah.
one more thing about changing your life? Change the way you look at failure. And this is a whole big long story around women and any marginalized population, really. But women and girls, 80% more than men and boys, when we fail, we make a bad grade on a test, we do anything that fails, we internalize that and make it about us. We make it mean that I'm bad, I'm inept, I'm stupid, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm too much. All of these things. And if you've ever read any of Dr. Claire Zamet's books, that this is the I'm channeling her right now, right? That this is research that she did. And if we can flip that on its head and go, you know what? I love failure. Failure is my superwoman badge because that is proof that I try new things, that I'm not afraid to fail, that I can take risks. And when I fail, I'm getting so much information. I'm getting so much fodder for the garden that I'm building that it is brilliant. And if I'm not failing a lot, I'm not playing big enough. I'm not reaching out enough. I'm not, you know, making a big enough life for myself. So, yeah, meditate, start your damn purpose, change the way you look at failure.
Beautiful. Those are three beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful tools. Yeah, really, really powerful. So I want to talk to you really quickly about your life right now. And you have made some pretty big adventurous decisions about how you're going to spend your time to kind of propel your goals forward. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So, I don't know when this is going to air, but my life changes from day to day. So so if you meet me somewhere tomorrow and my adventures are different, I wasn't lying. I just changed really quick. So I am exploring that my area of growth is in prosperity and in abundance. And my self-concept and my limiting beliefs are all in that area, mostly in that area. We all have limiting beliefs in every area of our life, right? So am listing my house on Airbnb, and that has a double purpose in that it's earning money, but it's also giving me the opportunity to head out into the world and have experiences. I kind of got hermity here for about 10 years in my, you can see where I live. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I've been kind of isolated, and a lot of awakening is happening with needing to connect with and get the support of other women and community, and to be very much active in the ways that we're supporting one another. So in order to do that, you got to get out where people are. So, and they're in while I'm waiting for this program to launch and take off, I've been Ubering. So, and Ubering is now a verb.
So that means that you're driving for Uber?
Yes, I'm driving for Uber and delivering people around and delivering food and every time you start something new, it's so scary and it's so weird that it only takes a minute for it to be, oh, what was I scared of? So number 4 would be face your fears and see that they're not really real. But there are so many fascinating people in the world, Esther. It I had a physicist in my car today, and um oh, that's another thing. It seems like there's a big lesson every day that I'm out in the car driving people around. And today was, absolutely do not judge anyone from the external. You do not know. There was a woman in my car today that I won't, that I would not have thought that she was brilliant in any way. And this is my confession that I judged. I'm like, she's just an ordinary average person. Well, she's a translator in like 7 different languages. She is a brilliant woman, right? And the physicist that I picked up, he was an average young man at a, just a medium hotel. I'm like, you're just a normal guy. He's a freaking physicist. So I'm like, yes, thank you for this lesson. Thank you for always looking past this body into what's in there, right? Um, yeah, so oh, okay. So the adventures, I have been exploring ways to go and immerse myself in different communities, in different activities, in different, like, going to work on eco projects or intentional communities. Or I spent 3 weeks on an art farm, which, just trying to have different experiences and broaden my horizons and milk everything, all that there is to experience from this human existence, and bring all of that to my work. And my goal is to travel the world and visit all kinds of sacred sites from all different kinds of beliefs, and participate in all different kinds of sacred rites, and to not only share those with my people, but bring my tribe along with me. I want to hold retreats there. And so this amazing group of women that I am attracting and creating. I'm so picturing us sharing these adventures and journeys and trips and learning together, and you know, each bringing our gifts into this community that we create.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Sharing
Mm.
what each of us has to share that
Yeah.
brings joy.
Yeah. So like I think we're going to do an oracle card, but if this were a gathering, I would bring around along my friend Eden, who is just so brilliant at tarot cards and at, card readings, and let her be the expert at that, right? And um yeah, I just feel this yearning to create a platform that all of the women in my life have a place to shine and to grow in their own particular unique and special gifts. So I'm really looking forward to how that vision evolves and grows, and it's not going to take long.
Yeah,
That's
well,
my
you're already on your way. You have your
Yeah.
first seven, so that is so exciting.
Yeah.
So, do you want to pull a card now?
Sure. We absolutely can. I didn't bring any smoke or any magic to cleanse the cards. So we will cleanse them with our intention, which is even better. But do you want me to talk about cleansing?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so there is energy all around in every single thing, and it's affected by our thoughts, by our feelings, by other energies. And the last time I used these cards was in a I'm going to be make sure that I'm telling the truth, was in our full moon ceremony a week or so ago, and we had this brilliant gathering of 100 people, and we had this beautiful spirit-led meditation, and our guides came and shared about the cards. So all of that energy is still here and clinging to everything that it touched. And so in order for us to have purity and pure intentions about the messages that we're receiving, we want to clear the energy of the cards, and at the same time clear our intentions, so that everything is nice and smooth, and we have clarity, and we have um, conviction that the messages that we're hearing are the messages that we're meant to hear, and not for someone else, right? So the universe doesn't make mistakes. So the cards are clear with our intention, with our breath. All right, do we want to ask a question, or do we just want to see what messages Caleb and our guides and the angels have for us?
I think we should just see what the collective needs to hear in this moment. How about that?
Yeah. And seeing the beauty of this is that not everyone who watches this will watch it at the same time, but the card will be perfect for them no matter what time it is.
Yeah.
That's the magic. That's so cool. Right? Like, oh my God, this was 2 weeks ago. How did they know this was going to be important for me today? Okay. Lacey, my little dog. They're always perfect. These cards are always perfect. This is perfect for our message today. I don't know if it shows up on your screen backwards or forwards.
Oh, it's forwards. Taking
Is it
shelter,
forwards?
the answers are within the little lamp.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, all right. Okay, lay down, good girl. Throughout this conversation, the message has been for each of you to honor and respect and have reverence and have faith and have confidence in the wisdom that lives within you. There are so many times throughout this human existence that we look to others, that we look to circumstances, that we look to authority figures, that we look to books or even cards for answers. And this can be brilliant, and this can be fun, and this can be so supportive of you, and feedback from people who love you, and feedback from people who have created in ways in this world that you wish to create is wonderful and beautiful. But it is also so important for you to remember that your highest self, the voice within you, all of the answers, all of the resources of this universe are available within you and shall be the final authority on how you choose to move forward, how you choose to adjust your perspective, how you choose to guide your own path based on the information, the feeling, and the guidance that you receive from your source, from your guides, from your higher power, received within your heart, received in this voice of such clear wisdom. And understanding that the work that you are to do is to recognize and know the voice of your maker, recognize and know the voice of your source through the practice of listening, through the practice of being still and being able to distinguish when a voice is a voice of your fears, when a voice is a voice of your egos, or when you are hearing the clear and solemn and such unconditional loving voice of your guides. And you will know, you can feel the truth of these messages within you when you are hearing truth, and you can feel the disconnect when you are separated from this highest, most powerful, most tapped and tuned in part of yourself. So this is the message in this card for you today: to find your way to within, to take shelter within your own wisdom, to embrace all of the resources and the power that are available for you from this empowered position, and then allow the rest of the world to be information that you pick and choose from, that you enjoy or don't enjoy, that you turn towards or turn away from. Always enjoy, always in celebration of the freedom of choice, and never in the pushing against of something that doesn't feel right to you. This can always be set aside for someone else. This can always be left alone so that someone else who does prefer it can choose it. So many times you as human beings get wrapped up in what is right and what is wrong and what is the right answer, when the truth is that there are so many right answers. There are so many possibilities that if you can just feel your way into one answer and follow that path in joy and expectation of fabulous outcomes, and embracing the joy of the possibility and the joy of the journey and the wonder and empowerment of the learning and growing, then you get to live in the truth that you cannot get this wrong. That even when you make so called mistakes and errors, this is a part of your path. This is a part of your journey. These are beautiful, different colored threads that you can weave through the tapestry of this beautiful life that you are creating in this finite time as a human being and as this infinite time as a spiritual soul. Take shelter within, knowing all of the answers that you need, all of the resources, all of the power is within you. And so it is. All right. You're muted.
I had a kitty meowing, so I muted myself. Thank you. That was amazing. So was that you channeling,
Yes.
Caleb?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Because it sounds like you. So I just wanted people to know so it's you sitting and listening and then speaking the words to come forth.
yes. And it is always in my own voice. I don't have voices that come through, but sometimes there are different nuances. Like sometimes my speech is much slower, and sometimes my speech is it sounds smarter than me. It sounds like there is access to more vocabulary than I actually have the ease of use in my regular life. Um, but yeah, it's me, but it's the part of me that is connected to all that is, right. It's hopefully not the part of me that is connected to my ego, not the part of me that is connected to my own little human agendas, right.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so that it's so important for the listener the person who is receiving any channeled message, who is receiving any body of work, to be in touch with themselves so that you get to make the decision that, yes, Caleb is speaking truth in this moment. And I love this. This is in alignment with me. This is information that I'm going to use and apply to my life. Or to say, you know what? That is not really in alignment with who I am. There was a message in there about pushing. I am the person that is an advocate for this. I'm an activist. I am not a pacifist. I'm an activist. I am going and fighting against this injustice. I am called to go and fight on behalf of these victims against these things. Now, in general, we would always say that a pushing against of something is never going to work because it's only adding energy to that. But if you are called to this, to be this warrior, to go into this battle, then this is a part of the human experience that you should have, right? And even if the outcome is not that you abolish slavery or you end child trafficking, or whatever the noble cause is, there's value in the battle. There's value in every single ounce of human experience that we have here. And see that this is still channeling, even though I don't have my eyes closed. I'm in a very connected place, and my words are free flowing from a source that knows more than I do, right? So it doesn't have to be a big mysterious going into a trance kind of thing. You can sit and go, tell me something amazing, my amazing source, and just download all of this information. There's no right or wrong way to be tapped into infinite intelligence, to God, to divine love.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Your kitty's behind. Which one is this?
That's Romeo.
Yeah, so sweet that he made an appearance.
Yeah, he's the oldest of the cats at the moment. He moved here with me, and he was about 2 when we came here. So, oh my goodness, yeah. So he's about 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
Lovely. I love it when they show up. So
yeah.
do you have anything else that you would like to, actually, I just wanted to say one thing. If people are interested, you mentioned your full moon ceremony, and you do meditations that are free or by donation on Insight Timer, right? So I'm going to
Mhm.
link to all of your places where people can find you, but is there anything coming up that people should know about?
Yeah, I don't know when
Watching
this
in
is
time?
gonna air, but tomorrow, tomorrow
Oh
morning
yeah,
is
it won't, yeah, it
the
won't air till Monday.
okay. But I'm on this path now of doing a meditation gathering as part of my ministry, right? These are ways that I'm showing up and gathering people, and charging very little or nothing for these gatherings. And we're going to do them every moon phase. So the full moon, the new moon, and in between the first quarter and the last quarter. And this is a beautiful way of like having a new year within every moon phase, because on the new moon it's like the winter where we start fresh, we shake off everything from the last cycle, and we set new intentions like planting seeds, sowing seeds. And then the first quarter is like the spring. So we're gathering and we're celebrating the sprouts that are coming. And in this way, we're keeping ourselves focused on our intentions. And we're, making sure that we are. So, like for this cycle that we're finishing up, my intention was to become very practiced at staying on my path. Now, and meaning that I can meander according to joy and according to inspiration and according to cool things that I might want to learn, but that I will never again allow fear and doubt and uncertainty take me from my path. And it has been such a fulfilling journey this month. I'm just seeing so many things that are happening and blossoming as a result of my love and care and attention, right? The food and water and sunshine of my love and intention to my intentions, right? So if you go to Insight Timer and follow me, or our Facebook group, Joyful Magic, I do the ceremonies in both of those places. That all you gotta do is watch the calendar and then look at the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
lovely. So do you
yeah.
have any last words that you'd like to share with people before we go?
Oh my goodness. Yes, if you're female watching this, there is at least 10 times more potential within you than what you can see for yourself. More than likely, it is 100 or 1,000 times more than you are seeing for yourself. You are brilliant. You are amazing. You are so full of opportunity and potential, and just let yourself dream big. Let yourself look at failure as an adventure and really reach for what you love and what you yearn for and make your life what you want it to be. Yeah, that's it.
Yay. Thank you so much for joining
Oh,
me. This was such
thank
a
you for,
lovely chat.
I had so much fun. Thank you for having me too.
Yeah, you are welcome. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.